Tonight, businesses will soon be on Troy's campus looking for possible future employees.
Plus, whether Cupid's arrow hit or miss, it's still important to protect your heart. Stay tuned. TrojanVision Nightly News starts now.
From the high-definition digital production center on the Troy campus, with news from Troy University locations around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Nightly News for February 22nd, 2012. I'm Tiffany Lester.
And I'm Courtney Steele. Thank you for joining us this evening. A week from tomorrow, Troy University is taking a trip to Montgomery. This was the topic of last night's Student Government Association meeting. Judson Garner has the details.
In the midst of probably one of the busiest weeks for the Student Government Association, they still had to take care of business. And last night, the SGA basically discussed the importance of getting students informed about Higher Ed Day.
I know a lot of students think this is just a day to get out of class, but it's actually a day where all the state universities are going to come to Montgomery and just try to bring awareness to the state legislature and let them know that we don't appreciate the increasing tuition. And though they don't necessarily directly increase the tuition, our tuition has to rise because of the decreasing in funding that we get from our state, from the state each year.
And like any good field trip, you don't have to drive yourself.
Well, we're going to provide buses for students who don't necessarily have a ride to Montgomery on March the 1st. We're going to have buses down at the Trojan Center at 8:30 for students to come and load up. And we're going to give out free T-shirts, so everyone will be matching in their Troy University T-shirt. And we'll pull out of the Trojan Center parking lot at about 9 o'clock and head to Montgomery and hopefully get there about 10 o'clock so we can get ready for the rally.
Judson Garner, Troy TrojanVision News.
Once again, Higher Ed Day will be Thursday, March 1st. Keep tuning in to TrojanVision Nightly News for more information about Higher Ed Day within the coming days.
On March 6th, Troy University students will have a chance to give back to their community by giving to mothers in need. The African American Alliance is sponsoring a baby item drive for Troy Save a Life. Students have been asked to donate baby baskets with items such as diapers and wipes and other necessities. AAA says that bringing in simple items can really make a big difference for families in need.
I'm sure it means a great deal to them because there's a lot of times where they don't have the means to get their children what they need, and I could just imagine, that has to be a bad feeling to not be able to get your child what your child needs.
All items are due March 6th in the Trojan Center ballrooms. To get more information on Save a Life, you can call 334-566-2880 or visit www.savalifetroy.org.
Troy students have a wide variety of choices when it comes to meals on campus, but they don't always pick the most healthy options. Well, today one sorority decided to give some tips on how to chow down a little bit healthier. Deatra Montgomery has the story.
Whatever the school has to offer is normally what students go and grab to eat for meals.
Well, when I'm down here, I just eat normally anything fried, Chick-fil-A. I get Chinese a lot. That's normally what I eat is fried food.
Well, when we come down here, I eat just whatever line's the shortest. And it's usually chicken, fried chicken, or like hamburgers or something, whatever I feel like.
The Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority promoted heart health today to bring awareness of living and eating healthy.
We chose it mainly, I'm a nursing major and I'm in the program here, and mainly I'm all into health, eating healthy, so that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do this.
Alongside a treat to keep the doctor away, they were also given a packet on suggestions to better their heart health.
Some tips for a healthy heart are eating right, like eat lots of nuts and veggies, things that a lot of college students don't really eat. That's part of their diet, but just make sure you incorporate that into your diet. Make sure that you work out. That's something that's really, really big, raising that heart rate and doing cardio for your heart. And really make sure you get enough sleep. That's important, and drinking lots of water.
The sorority feels that this is one of many things students could do to make Troy a healthier school.
I feel like it's making Troy one step closer, a healthier place and a better place to go to school.
Deatra Montgomery, Troy TrojanVision News.
In addition to the healthy tips, AKA also took donations to give to a local food bank. Well, Tiffany, next Wednesday, a wide variety of businesses will be on campus looking for possible future employees.
That's right, Courtney. It will be a part of the Office of Career Services Spring Career Fair. And as Justin McNally tells us, students are eager to get some tips on how to make a good first impression.
On Tuesday night, the Career Services Department held a resume workshop for Troy students. Anyone from freshmen to graduate students were allowed to attend in order to get their resume on the right track. Coordinator of Career Services, Lauren Cole, gave some tips on effective resumes.
Students definitely need to have their education at the top, the highest education they've achieved. They need to have any certificates or any accomplishments they've made in their majors. They need to have classes that are related to their jobs, but also volunteer activities or any kind of community and civic organization activity they've had.
Students piled in to listen to Cole explain what they should do to appeal to future employers. Even though some of the students had already started on a resume, they were not going to miss an opportunity to improve their original draft.
I kind of have one already prepared, but it may not be set up the best it can be. So by coming to this resume workshop, I can kind of get a better idea of what will make it better, make it stand out, and then I can go from there.
And while some of the students are still waiting to start on their resumes, others are eager to get ahead of the game. Junior Catherine Glover knows how important resumes are in the hiring process, and she wants to have an advantage over the competition.
Well, your resume, when you send it to an employer who hasn't met you yet, if they see two people's resumes, that's all they see. They don't see your face, and your personality. So I think it helped me get a leg up, on the competition.
Cole's last piece of advice:
come to see us a little bit earlier in their careers. Don't wait until you're ready to graduate or ready to get that internship.
If anyone has any questions, they can attend one of these workshops that occur periodically throughout the year, or they can go over to 104 Eldridge Hall to the Career Services Department. Justin McNally, Troy, TrojanVision News.
The Spring Career Fair will be next Wednesday from 9 to 1 in the Trojan Center ballrooms. If students are looking for any more advice before the fair, they can go by Career Services office in Eldridge Hall, room 104.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. In Montgomery, Country Crossing casino developer Ronnie Gilly says indicted State Senator Harry Ann Smith was his best recruiter for votes for pro-gambling legislation. He said she frequently sought bribes for other legislators. Gilly testified for a fifth day today. His casino was in Smith's district.
In Sylacauga, 4 people are now charged in the slaying of a Talladega County lawyer last year. 56-year-old Ernest James Files Jr. of Alexander City and 21-year-old Charles Andrew Joseph Hendricks of Birmingham are both charged in the killing of attorney Blake Lazenby. 2 Birmingham men were arrested in January for the killing.
In Birmingham, the head of the Federal Highway Administration, Victor Mendez, is visiting the city to see the state's largest current road project. Mendez is in Birmingham today to tour the work north of the city, where the road now called Corridor X will tie into Interstate 65 and become Interstate 22.
And still to come on TrojanVision Nightly News, the Trojan softball team is in action tonight for their first midweek doubleheader. Danielle Percival will fill us in on all of that and more when she joins us with sports.
But first, an American reporter working for a British newspaper was killed in Syria during a battle in rebel stronghold of Homs. We will have more on that story when we come back.
Bombings in Syria take the life of a reporter for Britain's Sunday Times. I'm Tina Krause in London. I'll have the story coming up.
Hands can do incredible things. Now they can even help save a life with hands-only CPR. If you see an adult suddenly collapse, just call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of the chest until help arrives. Learn more at handsonlycpr.org.
In 1887, it was written that we want to educate the mind to think, the heart to feel, the body to act. And it's no different today than it was 125 years ago. Some things never change.
The mission of this university
is to prepare leaders who are going to go into the communities and make a difference. And I think it's within that culture of caring that excellence is found.
Troy University, in class, online, within reach. Troy.edu.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now for a look at what's happening across the nation and around the world, we go to Tiffany Lester at the Global News Desk. Tiffany?
Thanks, Courtney. Syrian government forces attacking rebel fighters killed an American war correspondent based in Britain. Tina Krause reports from London.
Syrian forces reportedly shelled a house in the rebel stronghold of Homs, killing an American reporter. 57-year-old Marie Colvin was a veteran correspondent for a British newspaper. The New York native lost an eye covering another war more than a decade ago.
This is a desperately sad reminder of the risks that journalists take to inform the world of what is happening and the dreadful events in Syria.
Just a day before she died, Colvin was on TV calling the government bombardment of rebels relentless and shocking.
I think the sickening thing is the complete merciless nature. They are hitting civilian buildings.
Colvin didn't spend much time at her company headquarters here in London. The Sunday Times reporter preferred to be close to the story, no matter how dangerous. Colvin was killed along with a French photographer. Witnesses say a rocket hit the journalists as they tried to escape a barrage of shelling. Helicopter gunships are helping forces loyal to President Bashar Assad. Weeks of attacks have left hundreds dead. This amateur video reportedly shows hundreds of Syrian soldiers joining the rebels' fight to take down Assad's government. Western powers, including the U.S., have not ruled out arming rebels to help end the conflict. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
London is on high alert with the Olympics just months away. Security officials are preparing for the worst by staging a mock terrorist attack. Rita Nissan reports.
Paramedics wheeled away an injured man as police tried to maintain order. This looks like a terrorist attack on London's subway system, but it's an emergency response test as the city prepares for the Summer Olympics. The games are a potential target for terrorists, and officials say they're taking every precaution possible. The drill will last for 2 days.
The challenge for us here is the duration. It goes over a long period of time and, of course, the scale.
Another challenge for emergency response crews is communication. When suicide bombers hit London's subway and bus system in 2005, emergency workers had trouble talking to each other. Officials want to make sure that doesn't happen again.
One of the key things that we're testing today is how those communications hold up when there's obviously a lot of increased traffic on the system.
Officials say the training is not in response to a specific threat, and part of the goal is to make people feel safe about coming here for the games. 2,500 people took part in the drill, including 100 volunteers who were made up to look like victims. Emergency workers didn't know what this drill would involve. The element of surprise was used to keep everyone on their toes. Crews say they're learning from each exercise, including putting the right people in the right places. Rita Nissan for CBS News, London.
And that wraps things up from the Global News Desk. To see more stories from across the country and around the world, including a story about a boxing match that turned into a slapping and spitting brawl, you can tune in to Trojan Vision Global News right after the nightly news. Now, back to you, Courtney.
And thanks, Tiffany. Now, Danielle Percival joins us to look at weather at sports. So, Danielle, I know there are a little children's sports going on this afternoon. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, you mentioned going to weather. Well, actually, the weather is what caused the softball team not to be able to play their game this afternoon, but we'll get into that in just a minute. Right now, let's talk a little tennis. UAB blazed past the Trojan men's tennis team Tuesday afternoon, and it looked like the brooms might be coming out for the sweep, but the Trojans were able to pick up one victory in singles play. The Trojans fell 6-1, but the lone victory came from junior Anash Rushdie. The Trojans' next chance to hit the court will be on March 2nd in Hattiesburg, Mississippi to take on Southern Miss. And speaking of Hattiesburg, that's the baseball team's next stop as well. They'll look to build on their series win against Central Michigan, which opened the season. The Trojans are 2-1 on the year after winning their first two, including one game that experienced a 22-hour rain delay. That game sealed the series win for the Trojans, but they were unable to get the sweep on Sunday as Central Michigan batted in 14 runs, which was more than they had in the first two games combined. Head coach Bobby Pierce says this was a good team to face to start the season.
They pitched well for the most part on the weekend. I thought they were a very good, solid team. And as I play it all back, especially getting the win on Friday with only 2 hits, very lucky to win this series, very fortunate. And certainly something that we always hope to do, and our goal is to win the series.
The Trojans will look for another series win this weekend as they take on the Golden Eagles of Southern Miss. This series is slated to begin on Friday. And as we mentioned earlier, the softball team, well, they also went 2-1 this weekend, but their overall record sits at 7-1. They were scheduled to A&M this afternoon, but that doubleheader was postponed due to the weather. This would have marked the Trojans' first non-tournament action of the season, and Troy's just beginning a nearly month-long road trip. Head coach Melanie Davis says her team will look to make the best of it.
It means a lot to be at home. We love being at home. Our fans are great, and we just got to go off and make them proud. They follow us well on the internet, and you know, we'll do our jobs. This is softball. People play a lot of tournaments on the road, but then when we get home, we'll be here a lot, and we plan to be home when the weather's good, so our fans can enjoy us under some pretty sunshiny weather, we hope.
The Trojans' next action is scheduled for this weekend at the Frost Classic in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And to the casual football fan, it's the off-season. To the avid football fan, there is no off-season. Recruiting is over, and the snap of chin straps and the click-clack of cleats can only mean one thing. Trojan football is getting ready to break the huddle for spring ball. The team's spring practice schedule was released on Tuesday, and the team gets started in just a few weeks. Spring camp will open on March 18th, and the annual T-Day game is scheduled for March 31st at 2 p.m. The Trojans will practice 13 times during the spring and have 3 scrimmages on the schedule. So we're in the South. It's never too early to start talking football. Spring ball is just around the corner, and hopefully softball will be able to be in action this weekend. I know rain has seemed to plague the Trojan softball team and baseball team, but hopefully they'll have some clear skies and be able to get in all their games this weekend.
Exactly. Go and get those road trips out of the way, so like Coach Davis said, that when they come home, we'll definitely be able to go out there and support them.
That's right.
Thank you, Danielle.
And still to come on TrojanVision Nightly News, we'll find out about how your favorite foods can become a part of Troy history.
Plus, it's been a nice day so far this week, and the clouds are starting to roll in this afternoon. Can we expect any rain for the rest of the week? Courtney Addison?
Well, Courtney, you might be needing those rain boots for the rest of the week, but I'll get into that later in weather.
Today is a special day. Today we gather as a nation and as an international community to recognize the selfless decision of one of the most influential women of our time. She's been recognized by religious figures and politicians around the world. To us, she's just Rachel. But to the rest of the world, she's the woman who, after having one too many drinks, chose not to drive home buzzed. Here today to honor Rachel is the family whose lives she spared.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
Troy University's official student newspaper, the Metropolitan, comes out every Thursday. To give us a look at what will be in tomorrow's edition of the Trop, here's Ed Bailey.
University, here's what you can expect to see in this week's edition of the Trop. News will have extensive coverage of civil rights activist and U.S. Representative John Lewis's visit to campus. We'll also have some need-to-know tidbits for any Trojan wishing to be a resident assistant. The Metropolitan will also have a special section dedicated to Troy's 125th birthday celebration. Arts and Entertainment will have the scoop on the American Chamber Players' impending venture to Claudia Crosby, and sports will have the softball and baseball roundups following their successful opening weekends on the Diamond. And that's tomorrow's Trop Today. I'm Perspectives Editor Ed Bailey.
And now Courtney Addison joins us with a look at weather.
So Courtney, today was so nice outside. A little bit cloudy, but the temperatures were perfect for me. Should we be expecting some rain to come in, or should we be expecting the same for the rest of the week?
Well, Tiffany, if you enjoyed today's weather, you'll really enjoy the weather for the rest of the week and into the weekend. There's a little bit of chance of rain, but I'll get into that in a minute. First, let's take a look at our campus snapshot. We see that the sun is setting, not much action on the quad. It's a nice day outside. Pretty good with the temperature-wise, a good day to take your day out for a picnic for the evening. And taking a look at our current conditions, we see partly cloudy skies, temperature coming in at 67 degrees, dew point at 57, humidity at 70%, barometer at 29.78 and falling, and winds coming in from the south at 15 miles per hour. And taking a look at temperatures from around the state, we see Huntsville coming in with 64, Birmingham at 66, Mobile at 65, Troy at 67, Phoenix City at 70, and Dothan at 68. Taking a look at our current temperatures around the southeast, we see Florida coming in the very high, in the 70s, and also taking a look back towards Texas. What we can be expecting soon is even better temperatures in the 80s and the high 70s. Taking a look at our current temperatures around the United States, we see pretty warm weather for the most part and getting into the 40s in the central part of the United States. Taking a look at our current surface map, we have a cold front coming down our way, and there's also cold fronts going on more in the west. Taking a look at our current surface closer to our area, we see the cold front coming through, bringing those cooler temperatures and a little bit of rain every now and then. Taking a look at our precipitation forecast for the next 48 hours, scattered showers in the southeast and all along the eastern coast, and also we see a little bit of snow varying the farther north that we go. Taking a look at Thursday, we see no rain in sight, but if you're traveling up north, you might be experiencing a little bit of rain, moderate to heavy rain, and even if you're going even farther, you're being experienced snow and ice, so be careful on the road. And Friday's forecast, we see more showers coming in towards our area and back along the eastern coast. The farther north that you travel, you'll be experiencing heavier rain. And taking a look at Saturday, most of it has moved out of our area, except for in the southern tip of Florida. We see they could be possibly experiencing about a half an inch to an inch of rain. Taking a look into Sunday, all out of our area, except for there's a little tad bit trying to get its way out of the United States. And taking a look at tonight's forecast, we see mostly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of rain, light winds coming in from the southwest at 12 miles per hour with a low of 58. And tomorrow's forecast, we see mostly cloudy skies, a 20% chance of rain, a nice day outside. Enjoy a nice jog on the quad, and walk your dog on the quad. And going back, we also have southwest winds coming in at 16 miles per hour with a high of 76. Taking a look at our class outlook, we see at 7 a.m. temperatures coming in at 60 degrees, at 10 a.m. coming in at 66. At 1 p.m. we see it's warming up a little bit more into 73, and at 3 p.m. goes up a tad bit more to 74. And taking a look at our 4-day forecast, we see Thursday coming in with a high of 76 with a low of 63, Friday with a high of 64 with a low of 41, Saturday with a high of 58 and a low of 39, and Sunday with a high of 62. So you should be enjoying those temperatures outside. Enjoy the outside weather while you can, especially over the weekend. So Tiffany, if you enjoyed today's weather, you should have a wonderful week ahead. Enjoy the weather outside, get nice exercise, get ready for spring break. It should be a wonderful rest of the weekend.
So usually I have to wear a jacket or a hoodie to stay warm, but today it was so nice, and I'm so happy to see that we should be expecting the same temperatures for the rest of the week, even though there is that chance of rain. That'll kind of put a damper on everything, but it should still be very nice, and I'm very excited about it.
But it will clear up by the weekend to the baseball team. The games that they have Saturday, we should be able to go out and enjoy that with some pretty chilly weather, but it'll still be really nice to go out there and support our Trojans.
I'm excited. I'll get the chance to see a baseball game.
Exactly.
Thank you, Courtney.
Thank you.